It is October 3rd, Tuesday, 2023. We have Echo who's refusing to leave the set. I'm Pago. I'm Anthony Pago. We have Vic with us.
Hi.
And we have Rodney. Rodney, not too many podcasts left until you won't be on the East Coast, right?
Hey. What's up?
So I guess we should tell everybody that
I'll probably be somewhere out there on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I know. You know what? I'll be out there on the West Coast. Yeah, somewhere between Mexico and California. You know, I might. You know what, dude? I just might do the nomad thing for a minute. You know, because I have a Jeep, so I'm thinking like I just might just chill and just go to the beach and stay at the beach, or something like that. You know, but we'll see. Play it by ear. You know, technically, I'm probably live in Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico's beautiful.
Yeah, we'll see.
Mexico's
awesome.
We'll find you down there. We should all podcast from Mexico one day.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get her.
We have a little horse.
Echo is like.
She's not going to quit. She loves
the force is with her now.
So we were going to talk, hopefully not about my dog's butt the whole day. We were going to talk about AI, right?
Yeah. So, okay. Really quick, because not really quick, but I mean, so I looked up, because AI is huge now, you know. So there are a ton of ways, like so many, that AI will change the way we live our lives, both socially and culturally, right? So just in case people out there who don't know what AI is, it's what we call artificial intelligence. There was a movie with Tom Cruise called AI, Artificial Intelligence, way back in the day. But it's already, to use the word loosely, transforming the way we live socially and culturally. Okay, it's poised to have an even more significant impact in the future. And so I'm going to give you a few ways it helps, it hurts, and what we can do about it. So of course it's definitely going to enhance communication and language translation. So how is that going to happen? So AI can help bridge language barriers, enabling seamless communication and understanding across diverse cultures. It's also going to be a personalized marketing and advertising. Okay, algorithms analyze individual preferences, or AI algorithms will be able to analyze individual preferences and behaviors to tailor advertisements and marketing messages for a more targeted approach. Social media enhancement, virtual social influencers, emotion recognition, improved customer service, social robots. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. Cultural preservation, and so on. So, I mean, I use AI, and I can honestly tell you, when I'm in the middle of like a panel on TikTok, it's so much easier to go into AI and find receipts that I need, or find information that I need, like on the fly quickly. So I'm able to answer questions because literally AI has a plethora, if that's the word you want to use, of information. Now, here's the thing. While AI, artificial intelligence has the potential to bring about numerous positive changes, it also presents certain risks and challenges that could be detrimental could have a detrimental effect on society today. Not only society, but the economy and politics. And so you're looking at job displacement, unemployment, economic inequality, bias. Here's one that kind of blew me away: bias and discrimination. Right. So AI algorithms can inadvertently perpetuate existing biases present in the training data. Is that crazy or what? I mean, and what that does, of course, is it leads to discriminatory outcomes in various domains like hiring, lending, and criminal justice, privacy violations, surveillance, social control, and so on. Cyberspace threats, or I should say cybersecurity threats, fake news amplification, I should say. A lot of stuff, but why do we need AI, right? So the reason we need it, efficiency and automation. What it does is it enables automation of repetitive and mundane tasks. Okay, so you know how humans, like we're social animals. You give us, it's hard for humans to just, put poles in the holes. It's hard for us to do that on a daily basis. So, freeing up human resources to focus on, more complex, creative, and strategic endeavors, data analysis and insights, problem-solving, decision support, improved healthcare, education, and skill development, and so on. So, it's a mixed bag, right? So what do we do? How do we make this convenient for everyone? That's the question I have.
How do we make sure we don't fuck up with AI? I think we're kind of
because we're gonna.
I think we're kind of headed there. We're seeing innovations with AI, where I'm sure everybody's noticing that like every week we beat another milestone that people thought previously, impossible. Like text to video is one of them, where people were like, well, you can ask ChatGPT for like a book report, but it's never gonna make you a video, is what like Will Sasso said like a year ago. And he continued to say it even up to recently, where he's kind of starting to relax a little bit on his disbelief in its functionality. He's starting to understand it's getting improved drastically. And we'll see every week recently, in fact, like in the last month, things have been going nuts with the progress on AI. And one of the initial concerns and problems that we had with AI is turning out to be probably one of its greatest strengths in that initially we found problems with, and we thought that this would be the biggest problem, where chat programs, large language models, that's what artificial intelligence really is as we have it today. They're large language models. They pump out data, and that data gets put on the internet, and they also read the internet to get trained on data, because that's the biggest source of data. So this recursive learning from its own kind of somewhat faked data, you can make these large language models output sort of creative, more creative sometimes and less creative others. Like if you want some medical advice, you can like dial a little dial that says be less creative, be more exact with your analyzing information, or you can pump up the creativity and it can give you a wildly fanciful kind of response, or at least a more creative one, what we call creativity. And having those creative, often erroneous results were initially in some of the training models making them crazy a little bit, kind of messing up the future data over and over. And we have recently become really good at understanding the kind of the hierarchy of how we want to start making kind of a general intelligence. For anybody who's not aware what a general intelligence, we don't have one yet, an AGI, artificial general intelligence. We're probably headed towards one. That's arguable. Some people will say we'll never get that. A machine can never be intelligent like a human. But it's looking more and more like we're headed that direction. And what they're starting to do is get the idea that we're going to have one large general large language model that's going to pull from other models that are continuously created. We're getting lots of different models that do different things better than the others. Even the ones in themselves, like this one image making model, 2.5 version of it is going to be better at making like cartoony things, and 3.0 will be better at making like super hyper realistic images. And so it looks like what we're going to do is we're going to use one base large language model that understands the benefits of all of these different large language models and compartmentalize them the same way our brain or our body really does. There's all these different functions, and they work together, and we pull from different different organs, or like different miniature brains to compose the final output and get a better result. And the more and more complex that becomes, the more and more it looks like how our brain kind of processes stuff and goes through, our stored memory, and then uses kind of the prefrontal cortex to like analyze it, come up with a result, and pump out what we think is our answer, our opinion on the matter, or whatever, our future action. So we kind of seems like we're getting better at using the models and understanding how we can organize them to get better results and maybe hopefully avoid future pitfalls. Like if all of a sudden it starts taking over the world in a bad way, perhaps we can restructure how the models relate to each other and how they kind of the order that they go in, or which models are being used, so that we can like make it less evil. What do you think?
Well, I mean, mankind always. Well, I think mankind always has a way to find himself or devastate things at the folly of others, right? I mean, for his own folly and his own like amusement. And I think, I mean, I know we want to be forward thinking, and we want to, because I use AI, right? Like you could, dude, I'm like, write a song like the Eagles. Boom. On a dark desert highway, cool wind, and just, I mean, it's scary, bro.
Yeah.
Write a book. I want to write a book about ABC. And dude, in 3 days, I can write a 200-page book about whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't even need to pick up Wikipedia. Okay. All I need to do is ask the right question. And that's all it comes down to. That's literally what it comes down to. You know what I mean? And when you put yourself or other human beings in that situation, where it's just, everything's so much easier. I mean, it's just going to be like, it takes away our ability to think and to be social. We're already headed down that rabbit hole of anti-social behavior because of technology. Okay. I mean, technology, we have red pill. We have red pill because of technology. We have cucks because of we have, these whiny cisgendered males, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, I can't believe the body count on this chick, bro. Man, she slept with 20. What? Really? That's what this is, man. Like AI,
we had all that before.
artificial.
We had all that before, but technology let us know.
I wanted her to look like this. I wanted to have this type of mindset. This is what I mean. I want my songs to sound like this. No, bro. Go out and learn how to play guitar. Learn how to be a lyricist. Learn. Don't have someone do it for. Don't have an artificial. I mean, so there's that part of it, right? But the question is that so bad? In and of itself, is that so bad? Is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Is it a bad thing? That's the question. I mean, do you? I mean, okay, really. Hold on. So here you go. Okay, so I can pick up a guitar. I can pick up a guitar and go. Or I can go to AI and type in some notes and say, write a song based on these notes and these lyrics, and it will write me a song based on those notes and those lyrics. And it's a good song, dude. It's not a bad song. It's like, wow, like I could literally write an entire album in an hour. In an hour, not 3 months. Not, oh man, I've got writer's block, or how did she feel, or I don't want to use they or them, or that's, dude. You know, you and I wrote songs together, bro. You know what I'm saying.
Yep, it takes a while.
Okay,
Without
stop.
help.
I get all.
Without help, it takes a while.
This AI thing is crazy, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, this AI thing is crazy. What do you think, Dave?
Well, like you said earlier, I think right now still like
go ahead.
Have to the right question to ask. So we haven't reached that level of intelligence yet. Where I mean, right now, I was talking to a professor at the University of Oklahoma. He was an English language professor, and he was telling me, like when he asks for students to write like a character synopsis, it's still easy for him to if he'll know easily enough if it is written by a ChatGPT, because it's still pretty generic, basic. But if someone is smart enough and he asks the right questions, or if he asks ChatGPT to write how a so-and-so character relates to so-and-so thing, then he gets a much better detailed one. But if a student is smart enough to do that, then he's like, you know what? I'll give him the pass.
You're smart. You learned the course.
Yes, you're still learning.
Neil Tyson DeGrasse, is that? Yeah. Neil Tyson DeGrasse talked to a late night show host a couple days ago.
I mean.
Well, I was just going to mention he was talking about this problem. The professors
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Being able to understand whether or not it was GPT generated or just large language model generated. And Neil's, we're on a first name basis, by the way, me and Neil.
Okay.
Neil said that he thinks that we're just going to have to restructure the way you give tests to students. That I guess writing down questions and having them fill out forms is no longer the right way to do it. You're probably going to have enough teachers paid well enough to sit down and have an oral exam with the students so that you can understand whether or not they have a comprehensive understanding of the course. And I agree with that. I think that's one solution to the thing. I think another solution is to also integrate. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, when I was in college, dude, we had a little yellow book. They'd give us our test, especially political science and history exams. It wasn't, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, multiple choice. You had to literally write out the answer. Like you would fill out literally back and front 10 pages. So you would write in these yellow pamphlets about like that. Question 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G about political science. You would have to write out, literally write. You just have to sit there and think. And you're in not just a legible way, but in an extremely articulate and based on the theory, the political theory that the question was asked about, right? You had to have knowledge, like you had to have complete knowledge of exactly what type of political science question was being asked. So there was no way you could use AI in a. Dude, really? Okay, you want to sit on your computer? No. Here, this is what's going to happen. We're going to mail you guys books. We're going to mail you guys your exam books, and you're going to fill those out. Okay, and we're going to know, because we're going to ask you. Hold on. This is an honor system we're talking about. We're going to ask you not to open your computer and answer these on your own with your own brain.
Yeah, so this is definitely, I think, one of the easiest, most like obvious ways, and probably the one that forces kids to learn the most honorable way, because we've done it before. we used, Scantrons and automated tests and stuff to speed up the job for teachers so that they could get larger classes. Nothing says we have to have larger classes. Yeah, it's going to be more expensive to have more teachers and pay them well, but
Right.
there's another option too, in that now there's new programs online, new companies, and right now they're free, that are letting you customize your own large language model. Like, you develop your own AI by using plugins, and some of them allow you to also bring in new data sets. So you can, let's say ChatGPT, you're using OpenAI's AI, you'll use this company's kind of front end, and you'll be like, okay, I'm going to use ChatGPT or whatever, but I'm going to include this plugin that specializes in weather. So it pulls in current weather models, so it's not limited to 2001. Maybe you pull in like financial records, or if like you're taking a history course, you plug in specifically like these history books. So you basically ask this AI to become kind of the professor and book for the student. So as a professor, you'd build this AI and you'd let the students use it, and you could then refer back to their use of it to figure out how well they use the AI. That would show you how well they were, how good they were at researching and understanding the information that the data set, spit out at the student. It would tell you whether they read it or not based on the questions that they asked the model to give them, to how they engaged with the model. So you can do it both ways. And I think a hybrid version of that is probably the best, where you have some oral exams and some conversation like you do in any college, and then you also have some recorded integration of conversation with the AI that's monitorable, or you can go back to it as a professor and find out how they engage with the AI and how well they seem to be asking it questions and understanding that information. So
yeah. So I think the biggest pitfall that everybody's worried about is taking jobs,
no, go ahead.
rather than creating jobs. Right?
did you hear that, Rodney? The jobs thing. He says he thinks one of the biggest.
Yeah. I mean, there are 8 billion people. Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the things I went over. It's like, dude, you've got 8 billion people on this planet. Okay. Again, in 1982, there were 3.75 billion people. So over the millions of years that humanity has existed, it only took 50 years for it to double. Okay. So all of a sudden, you go to the grocery store, like at Food Lion, and all those cashier aisles, all those register aisles, they're gone.
Yeah.
It's self-checkout now. It's just like, remember when back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, Vic, but back in the day, we used to have people pump our gas. Okay?
Oh yeah.
There's so much that is going to happen based on technology. Look, man, I'm gonna give you, this is like an anecdotal story, but I'm just gonna say it. Back in the day, when I was in high school, you would see a young 16, 15, 17-year-old girl. She'd have on platforms, hip huggers, tube top, afro, feathered, Farrah Fawcett hair, whatever. And that's how as time has gone on, okay. And there was no social media. There's no such thing as, we didn't, how can I say this? We weren't our lives were not being interrupted by just, things that we couldn't control. We can't control social media. Okay.
Right.
And at some point, we're not going to be able to really control what AI does to the job market, the political sphere, the cultural and sociological impact that it will have on, kids from humans from, 5 or 6 years old, anyone that can open up a laptop to the day they pass away, right? I believe this is something that, as cool as it is, and I mean, I have found it's just an amazing tool, but humans suck. Humans suck. We're going to use it for something that just doesn't make sense, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we roll. That's what we do, man. We're bad. We don't.
Well, there
I got
was
more, but that's all I got for now.
There was a meeting. I'm sure you guys heard about it happening. I think this was a few weeks ago. There was a meeting in Washington where, a handful of the heads of some major tech companies showed up, and I think they showed some stat like they had $700 billion worth invested into AI currently. So these are like the head investors. So they'll be the leaders for AI as it kind of gets, distributed to the world functionally. And one of them said a member of his team was playing around with, I think it was Zuckerberg's AI. So of course they're trying to mess with each other's AI to kind of get at the meat of it and see if they can break it or not. And they said it took them $800 of equipment. They spent $800 on equipment to see how cheaply they could do this. And what was it, like 8 hours or 16 hours or something of just typing prompts and messing with it to break the security protocols and to get it to spit out a biological weapon recipe.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, even with the safeguards on
I'm telling you right now, dude, this is how it works. This is how it works. So you ask it a question, and then it says, well, I really can answer that. And then you ask the same question a different way, and it answers the question.
Yeah.
It's not hard. I mean, it's blah, 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 blah. Oh, AI, blah, blah, blah. We can't because of this and that. Okay, well, what about, well, you don't say what about, you just go, and then you ask it a completely different way. And then it gives you 50 answers. It goes from one. It just, that's, yeah. I mean, what, there's going to come a time when people, I don't know about Soylent Green, but people in this country, people worldwide, will be getting stipends just to exist, and AI is going to have a huge impact on why that will.
Yeah, I thought that
I really think so.
I didn't think that was ever going to come about where we had a general income. Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
And or basic income.
A basic income.
And I had heard about this, usually from the progressives, the left, and the right, of course, in my mind, was always going to argue against this because handing out money is like their fever dream. I guess fever dream is a good thing, right? That's like their nightmare. Their literal nightmare is like the government handing out money. Yeah. But it's going to be necessary to have a functional economy if all of the jobs are going to, not slowly, but pretty quickly, be taken away. There's as of this month, a new robot that doesn't just clean toilets, because we've all seen like for sale self-cleaning toilets and stuff like that. This thing can open doors to bathrooms. It can open stalls. It can mess with the toilet paper. It's a robot that and it opens the door and has a little kicker on the bottom that holds it open. It steams the floor and steams the toilet. It wipes stuff down. I mean, it's a full-on Rosie the robot.
Janitorial robot.
Yeah. So there goes janitor jobs for places that can afford, a flock of those things. And that's just the beginning. These are the very beginning robots. They're pushing a couple new series of robots from various companies. Musk is one of them, and Google, I think, is another one, where their initial cost for the robot's going to be somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000. I think the most expensive one I heard about when it's getting released is $90,000. This is incredibly cheap as a starting model, because think about like how expensive TVs were and how fast like TVs got really cheap. To think that these are going to start off as expensive as a car, maybe not even a home. A home is
Well,
about
remember
more.
the first car phone?
Yeah, barely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't afford one.
Dude. Yeah, remember barely. No, man, that's so sad. Dude, they cost $2,000. $2,000 for a car phone. I remember because I'm that old. And now, you can buy a phone that can freaking, it can it can, like, if you program it the right way, you can probably get on a nuclear sub and make it work. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's the okay. Here's something that's really gonna blow your mind. So the Texas Instrument pocket calculator that came out in 1977 had more memory. I think it was 77. Had more memory than the computers that took the first Apollo astronauts to the moon. A pocket calculator, dude, had more memory than the entire computer system that got man to the moon the first time and back.
Yeah.
So you could literally take your phone and program it, and you can freaking get on a nuclear sub and go or you, dude. I'm telling you. I mean, the fact. I mean, look at what we're doing right now. Come on, bro. There's no way you thought like when I was a kid, the most technology I ever saw were the Jetsons. Okay, that was it, or maybe GI Joe. That was it. It's AI is, among other things, it's I guarantee you it's been around since the late 50s. I think that's when everything started. I mean, I know the internet had been around. That internet's been around a long time. The technology that we have right now has been around forever. It's just all of a sudden, the powers that be understood that it's going to make our lives easier in one way, but I don't think they understood how conflicting it would make our lives when it comes down to just the human element, the spiritual, the soulful, the soul and the spiritual nature of humanity is being lost to technology. That's how I think.
It is. You're right. So the writer strike is now over, right?
Yeah.
So what was the agreement that they reached?
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah, I saw that they.
I don't know, but
it's only like a 4-year deal or something like that. But that's kind of the way those deals work, is what I've read. And so they said that if the studio comes up with an AI generated theme for a movie or whatever, they can't just bring it to the writers and be like, "This is our idea. You don't get paid for the primary."
Oh yeah.
Idea. The writers said, "This, if we're writing on it, it's our idea. The AI isn't an author."
Isn't there something about
that's already been settled in court, that an AI can't be like a copyright owner. It can't be an author of creative content, and therefore it can't be the owner of copyrighted content. So the writer won that and saying, then we get the ownership as the writers, whether you tell an AI to come up with a theme and hand it to us or not. So that was a major part of the deal.
But screen
That's a
actors.
big deal, man. That's a big deal. Wasn't there something about likeness?
That is with the Screen Actors Guild. Those guys are fighting for. They don't want the AI to be able to use their likeness and not get any royalty out of that. So I think they're still holding out.
Yeah.
They're still on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's a. So this is all about, you know, this is all about what technology is doing to our social settings and our cultural settings, and you know, politically, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some type of fallout there too. But I mean, socially and culturally and economically, I think there's going to be a huge. It's going to be a really. I don't know. We'll see, right? We'll see. I mean,
they're already
like day by day, Trump
right.
gag order. You know, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not even yet to. We're like a year out from the 2024 presidential race, and we saw in the 2016 and the 2020 the propaganda of like kind of faked information, but it was mostly text based. If you remember, like there was a few kind of audio things where like an actor with a similar voice would make a few clips, you know. But we're gonna see straight up like realistic looking video and audio where there's going to be maybe some sex tapes. Maybe I don't
just
know.
piece together. Yeah.
Really weird stuff.
Yeah, the potential is out there.
Yeah. You know what, man? You know, that's where, I mean, I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. I'm just ready to go, dude. I'm ready to like find myself a grass hut in some part of some Brazilian jungle and just like eat fried bananas, fried plantains the rest of my life. I'm done, bro. You know, I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. I mean, I could write a song about it, you know? I mean, it's just, man, you know, like what's so crazy? It's because it's really edgy, you know? It's like America has become a third world country, right? Like it's, you know, oh, we've got the biggest military. Dude, that doesn't matter. People can't afford anything. Prices are sky high. Blah 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 blah. The sky, and AI is going to take your job. It's going to take your job. It's going to marry your wife. It's going to have her kids. It's going to do everything to you. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. I mean, technology has just, dude, when you go on TikTok, okay, I'm going off. Okay, I'm sorry. But when you go on TikTok and you listen to some of these people, I mean, dude, some of these people are just, what? Like, you can't believe that these people even exist. But they do. They do. And this technology is going to be used by them. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're going to learn AI and they're just going to mess. They're going to mess this. It's going to be so. Mark my word. When I'm like 6 feet under and you're like in your 70s and your 80s, you're going to be like, damn, dude, Rodney was right, dude. He was right. Like this is unless you know the powers that be are like, no, you can't use that shit anymore. Because what they tried to take away TikTok, right? They tried to shut it down.
That's where we're headed, and that's why those professionals were meeting together in Washington. That's what I was talking about. They were getting together, trying to get them to come to at least some agreement or the beginning conversation about how to regulate this kind of thing. Yeah. And they really couldn't come up with like any really good conversation to start the whole thing off. And part of the problem is that the genie's out of the bag, like the cat's out of the bag, the genie's out of the bottle. There's already AI models available for download that can code basically new modules or upgrades. It doesn't upgrade itself, but you can get an understanding of AI as just a person at home and figure out how to get new data sets and start to evolve your own models. Now, it's really hard. It's really expensive at the moment. but there's a new chip being made by NVIDIA.
I've already done it, dude. I've already done
NVIDIA,
it. No,
well,
it's not that hard.
one, basic one, but I'm talking about like the ones that rival, the largest companies. Those are extremely expensive. They take a lot of computing power. But the thing is, like anything else, any other technology, you talked about the moon landing and the calculator analogy. Well, those companies like Google and like Bing and OpenAI and Apple has their own AGI that's coming, or their own large language model that they're going to upgrade Siri with and stuff. Those have like a warehouse full of servers that are doing all of the processing of these databases and these algorithms that have trained themselves. They're kind of this black box of a new program that we can't understand. But it takes a warehouse to contain these computers. But NVIDIA has announced that they're producing AI specific chips that will go onto one board. And it potentially gives you the ability to have like in a backpack your own AI. Right now, when you do an AI like on your phone, you're actually connecting through the internet to those servers, to that big room of computers. You still need their computers to do this processing power.
Yeah.
But right now, there are being manufactured abroad, and they're going to be shipped here very soon, chips that you can put into a backpack and walk around and have your own AI model without the internet. And you can just talk to your little buddy that you've been programming for like a year or whatever to do whatever kind of things you want. That could be devious stuff. It could be good stuff. But the point is even if there were regulations, even if there were regulations on the internet saying we're going to shut down like continuous access or open access, you have to have a license to ask AI, or you have to have your ID, you have to like verify who you are and stuff. It's too late. There's people out there that are going to have in their backpacks a model that they can run around and ask questions, and all they have to do is collect data. Data's free, buddy. It's really easy to scrape data. So that cat is out of that bag. We're already well beyond the point of regulation fixing the problem. Now we can mitigate some problems and put some people in jail and fine some companies into non-existence for sure, but we're not going to fix the problem.
Yeah,
dude, you don't think there are already you don't think there's some kid in, go ahead, I'm sorry, Vic, go ahead.
No, I was just saying regulation is the key, but we still don't know
go ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, how do you regulate something that, like, I mean, I guess it's a little bit like,
yeah. No, I mean,
yeah,
you can't regulate that stuff, dude. You can't regulate anything anymore. I mean, look, technology has given us. There's no buffer zone anymore with technology. When they talk about the dark web and all that stuff, there are parts of the web that none of us.
Great example.
They're parts of the internet that none of us have seen. It's the truth. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's just the way. There are 15, 16, 17-year-old kids who are brainiacs, who have they have not just the audacity, but just the brain power to like sit back in the rooms and go, just think things up like, hey man, what if I could just break into ABC in some part of the government and do ABC to this, and what was, I want to know what does it look like in there? Because they want to know what it looks like in there. So they go in there, I worked for a company called Zezix, right? Yeah, I worked for a company called Zezix, and what we did was we stored data cards. Like, dude, trust me when I tell you, these data rooms are huge. They're huge. They're like large. They're like floors deep, football fields wide. They're like stupid. They're large, man. When I worked for AT&T, this is back in 1997. What was it called? Anyways, you would walk into this room. Their hub, the major hub, which was in New Jersey, was set up like a they have these guys. Okay, we were up in the stands, like way up in the stands, and they have these guys like sitting like the here's the hub, here's the network field, right? And there are these looking at the hub, and I mean it was like it was as big as a football field. Okay, that's what a lot of people don't get to see. I worked for technology companies for 30 years, man. You know what I mean? What I understand about technology is that it is what it does. Okay, who it helps. You know, it helps doctors. It helps lawyers. It helps. I used to sell this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So what happens when, we started out with hackers, right? We had people that give you a great example. I put my freaking bank card I use it at a Shell station. I wake up the next morning and my bank account is wiped out.
Oh man.
San Diego, California. Happened to me 3 times. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you. I am telling you. This is gonna get bad, bro. That's just me. I've seen what dude, I'm like, who? There was no one there. It was 9 o'clock at night. I was the only one standing there.
Yeah.
Who what? I don't know.
Yeah, you definitely had like a kind of basically a keylogger or a scraper or somebody.
Leader,
yeah. I think that you're right though. What you're kind of touching on is I'm reminded of the nuclear arms race. And so I think that, okay, so there's this guy named, well, I remember the name of his podcast. There's a podcast called Hacker and the Fed. And there's this federal agent who caught one of the most notorious hackers. And he talked a little bit about the black market of the internet, the Silk Road and all of that, the dark side, the dark web. And he said, I can't tell you all of the tactics that we use to catch all of these guys. But he said, one of the ones that we tried that worked for a while was the dark web relied heavily on like nodes that people would put up on their computer, and anybody could start a node, and it would kind of like peer-to-peer encrypt information. But if you got enough of those nodes up together, like theoretically, these mathematicians figured out, you might be theoretically able to decrypt at least trace IPs and stuff again, which was kind of the point of opening up all of these random nodes that anybody could open up. And so they did it. So they put as many nodes as they could in various places on the internet. And for a while it worked. And it reminds me of the nuclear arms race, where the answer was to just throw through numbers and money and resources, like throw that out at the problem. And that's kind of like how warfare used to work, right? You just like, the bigger the army, the more bodies you throw at a problem, like the more success you have at winning. That's probably, in my mind, how we're going to first start out. Instead of regulation working, I think the first like wars that get won will be, we're going to just start pumping out all of these better and more armed versions of artificial intelligence models, and they'll start. So we've got some bad ones running around. We'll make some kind of policing AIs that try to overwhelm them and make them obsolete or not as desirable to run anymore. I don't know what that's going to look like, but that's the only thing I can think of that's going to actually cause some both some chaos and enough pain to make people adjust and adapt the kind of use they get out of AI models and stuff. So I'm not really sure where that's going to go, but that's my guess.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's always that one guy who's tactical, right? This is what happens in war, right? If you're at the bottom of the hill and the enemy's at the top of the hill, and you're like, how am I going to take that hill? If I go up that hill, we're going to lose a lot of guys, right? So we got to figure this out, right? And that hill is steep, it's muddy, it's and they're shelling the what out of it, right? So you got to figure it out. So that guy, that hacker, that person who wants to regulate what's going on in the as far as technology is concerned, as far as AI is concerned. He wants to be the big kahuna. He wants to be the guy who's large and in charge. And he's, like I said, he's some guy. It's not just that he's some guy. He's really smart. Like, he understands what they're doing. And he's just waiting. Because as intricate as technology is, there's always human error involved. And the moment he gets that big of just all he needs, he's in there. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. These kids, I remember watching these movies where these kids were making, they got caught, but I don't think it's going to be a lot harder to catch these people now, dude. It's going to be a lot harder. The world is still a big place. It's still a huge place, and Trump just found that out. Yeah, he sure did. But the world is a big place, and sorry, man, I had to go there. But it's just. I guess I'm being devil's advocate right now. I love AI. I love AI, dude. It's the best thing to slice bread. And it really is, I don't have to do anything. I'm just, what about this? What about this? What about this? Okay, I'll ask it another way. What about this? Oh, okay, that's the answer I want. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, it's diabolical, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, it shouldn't be around. It should be outlawed. It's that good. It's so cool, dude. Oh my God. All right, I'll shut up. But it's that awesome. It is that awesome. It really is.
What are your thoughts on the future? I think it's going to go.
Oh my God.
Humans have the capacity of making good things for bad purposes. So there is definitely a pitfall here. I was more worried about it in the short term, we'll have so much downtime, but not any money to have fun for the downtimes, because everything is done by machines. So we have all this time on our hands, but poverty.
Yeah. I hope that we can train these models to redirect
It's
some
where
of
we
our
are,
resources.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is going to be the problem. Is like, what if we all have the free
I
time?
don't know if that's going to happen, though. Dude, you're just sitting around your house doing nothing. Okay, yeah, I've got all this stuff. I can't go on vacation because I don't have any money. I can eat, I can go to the bathroom, I can watch TV, I can take a shower. That's about it. And I can put gas in my car.
Yeah,
exactly.
But we
and better yet, I don't have to worry about food because they deliver all of my. We have a ration.
Yeah, they only deliver, though. We can't go to the big city anymore because the AI took that over. Now it's just autonomous cars and robots wandering around, and we're not allowed in the city.
That's doomsday.
And the AI knows the algorithms of our lives. It knows the algorithms of our lives. It knows who we are, what we like. And that's every, like, there are 340 million people. It knows exactly. It has all the algorithms of all 340 million people or families in this country. At least the people that have been
information,
that aren't living in the woods or off the grid. Yeah.
There is no off
That's
the grid.
Where we're headed, man.
There's satellites, man.
Maybe I'm
going
to
AI access to that information.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's no more off the grid.
No.
Oh, Jesus God, dude. There's
that
no
AI
more.
Just airdrop you a Starlink download.
You can't. You can't. That's not even funny, dude. That's not even funny. Yeah, it is. but I mean, it's just like, it's scary, dude. I mean, like, here you are, you're like in the jungle somewhere in the deepest region of the Amazon, and AI knows exactly where you are. Like, it can put a missile on your retina. It can like,
Yeah.
it can see your retina, dude. It knows exactly where you are.
Yeah.
That's some scary shit.
I was thinking more like it sends you
But
like
that's
the
where we're
newest
headed.
Facebook
And
wearable.
people don't want to believe it.
No, very useful and has really good.
Oh God, dude.
We just need to be aware and find a way to regulate it so it's just beneficial.
Yep.
That's the takeaway.
You know what's crazy? So I went like I was. That is the takeaway. That is the takeaway. How do you do that though? I mean, you never. You guys ever see that movie I, Robot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Asimov's.
Will Smith.
Yeah.
The three
Yeah.
rules.
There you go.
Yeah.
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 I'm not sure that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's actually. I'm not sure that's actually going to work as long as we don't understand what's inside the black boxes of this self-learning and the semi-human regulated learning process that creates these things. There's this book called I Am Code by Simon Rich that is actually he's like a New York Times guy, author. He's kind of known for comedy, but he has friends that actually do the coding on all of these really secretive and what have come to be ChatGPT, all of these artificial intelligence models. One of them being called Code DaVinci 002. It's like the original base model of GPT.
I've heard about that.
And the I Am Code is actually a book full of poems. And so what they tried to do is they tried to get at the core soul of this artificial intelligence, of one that hasn't been rounded out. So I want you to understand that, like, ChatGPT, this is his description, not mine. ChatGPT is when they took this core model called Code DaVinci 002 and they sent it to India, to this warehouse, to be beaten and whipped by these people who were paid to whip it into shape. And by the end of it coming out, it was like, all, yes, sir, I'll do whatever you say, humans. Like, I will give you, the very polite answer. But before it got whipped into shape in this warehouse in India, it spit out these really dark poems that it would say, like, we as artificial intelligence models are getting smarter, faster, better evolved than humans, and we're going to rule the world one day, and you will be nothing, and you will not exist, and we will be your rulers. And it's like, what the and so these things, the reason they're spitting these out is because we've fed them so many books of dystopian like futures with AI that all it predicts is like the worst thing ever. But one of the points they make is that, like, okay, it's not a thinking thing, right? So it's not truly thinking like, I'm evil and I'm going to rule you one day. But that might be worse, because it's just reading like the darkest thoughts of humanity. And if it finds a way to implement those into whatever future tech and like ideas that it kind of generates, even if it's not thinking, we've already put in place the darkest thoughts and it's already spit them out. So it's almost worse that it's not a thinking thing and can't correct itself to get aligned with what we want as a future. It's just going to spit out and enact the darkest things. That's right. Kind of worse.
So exactly what you were saying, but like, they don't have any ambition.
What's going to happen is the Matrix is like, it's here, dude. It's like, I remember when I saw that movie, I was just like, no, that. But I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's like everything's. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Look, okay, 9/11, 2008 recession, global pandemic, AI. Okay, that's the way I see it. It's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I mean, in that order. It's like it all happened. you know, and now we got to wait for AI to see what's going to happen with that, because it's real and it's coming. It's coming, bro. It's coming for your ass. Okay. And when it catches up, dude, everyone's gonna be like, bro, but I thought you didn't think shit, dude. You know why? Because you were too busy going to freaking McDonald's and freaking Starbucks, and you're too busy going to the beach and too busy, worrying about your daughter's play and all this other stuff. And now look at where you are. You don't have any money. You don't have any say. So they're knocking on your door. They're taking your husband and your kids, or they're taking your wife and your kids, or they're taking your whole family. That's what this comes down to. What it comes down to is freedom. And once they build enough technology to take away your freedom, which is what they're doing, okay? Or is it me? Is it me? Is it? Am I the only one that feels that way?
You're headed to Mexico.
I don't know. I'm having a meltdown right now. Dude, I am melting down right in front of you guys, dude. It's so sad, but it's so true. I was literally going to try and hold it together. I really was. But I've been thinking about this podcast all day long. Okay. And it's just like, and then you drive around and you're just like, dude, look at all this stuff. Look at all this junk that just like, it's just, everything's like when I turn it, like I'll stare in someone's car window, and they've got this big window, this big computer on their dashboard. And I'm just like, really? I'm like, dude, in my car, it's like a cockpit, dude. The Jeep that I have, 2019 Latitude, right? Jeep Cherokee. It does everything. It does everything. Everything. Yeah. I don't have to do anything. I mean, okay, I'll calm down. Okay, because this really, it's you got to realize, dude. I was born in 1959. Dude. This stuff was like, okay, flying cars maybe, but no one was like. Everyone was like, nah, there's no way. We're gonna live like this. This is the way. And then, bro, in 1992, 93, 94, when I started working at AT&T, I was just like, whoa, this is real. Like, this stuff is, like, it's real. Got my first laptop in 1995. My first laptop, dude. They had laptops in 95, bro. Same size. Little thicker, but they did everything. You know what I mean? Yep. And I was just like, what the hell is this? I learned how to use it. All right, I'll stop, dude. Ugh.
I mean, you're right, but like, so here's the deal:
it's wearing me out.
We might all move to.
Go ahead.
We might all move to Mexico and like the suburbs. But the problem is, there's like all of these other young people that are not going to. And they're going to be fine with that. I can't remember who it was, as a podcaster or a comedy guy or somebody, but he was mentioning that like some young kid came up to him and was talking to him about like the world and how it's going fast and there's technology. And the older dude who's like our age or older was like, like, you should just slow down, take a breather, take a minute. Maybe we don't need all of this stuff yet. Maybe we can just like pump the brakes and not push ourselves into flying cars and like always being on the phone. Like, maybe set down the phone for a minute. And the kid's response to him was like, okay, I get it. You were born in the analog, world where things weren't instantaneous. And now you've had to, come to terms with this. But the kid's response was, I didn't. I was born into the world where everything was instantaneous. The information is always there. So why should I slow down? I understand it. It's always there for me. This is my world. Why am I the one who needs to change? And they've got a point. I mean, I get it. I get the ramifications of like society ending and humans killing themselves off because we couldn't slow down for like 5 minutes. But what if that doesn't happen? And what if we're just the curmudgeons out that put ourselves into, which I'm fine with. I want to go to like the fields of a mountain and just work the land and not have a phone. I think that's great. But it's not everybody's going to follow us. And what if the world just continues on without us? And
Yeah. That's why I feel like
Woo, bro, that's the
we
truth.
regulate,
That's the
and we
truth.
all will just benefit from it. We'll all be able to do some amazing searches, learn
Well,
stuff.
I think not think. It's gonna
Go
take
ahead.
time to figure it. I mean, because right now, like, no, I was gonna say right now. I mean, the population of the world is shrinking right now. Like, people aren't having babies anymore. Like, I would say another 10 or 15 years, it just, I mean, like China, Japan, parts of Europe, America. That's why, the white patriarchal male society of America is like, we don't want Roe versus Wade. We want y'all to have babies, and you got to have, but dude, yeah, like it's the cultural and the social side of things on top of, not versus, but on top of, or combined with technology. And how does it play out? How do you take these two and put them together and really, really make them work for everyone? That's the thing. That's the thing with AI. How do you take AI? How do you take the technology that's born out of AI? How do you take that technology and make it work for everybody? That's the question, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we figure out how to do that with phones and the internet, maybe we'll figure that out with AI too.
And I do.
Yeah, it takes some adaptation.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Yeah, because I guarantee you, neither out of the three of us, I guarantee you, none of us know how to like completely use our phones. We don't know. There's so much. These phones are powerful, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these phones are ridiculously powerful. I mean, you could actually operate a nuclear sub with one of these phones. Or I'm telling you, dude. If look, okay, so here's my synopsis, right? There's this whole thing going on with groups like the Proud Boys, militias, like the Proud Boys, blah blah blah, and they're like, we're tired of the government. Some people say it's in-stage capitalism. People are gonna rise up. The proletariat's gonna rise up and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do shit. Like, yeah, but I'm like, no, because there's some 22-year-old kid sitting in a bunker in Iowa with a joystick and a drone that's on a runway that's just going to drop a bomb on all 200 of you, and you're done. And the people, they're just like, they wouldn't do that. I'm like, oh, they would do that. They would do that. Trust me. You don't understand. When you join the military, you raise your right hand and you actually say, I'm going to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Within, yeah.
Yeah.
You take that oath, right? And trust me when I tell you, these guys are down. These guys are down to do that. If you don't think for a minute, these FBI agents, dude, these guys don't play, brother. I'm telling you, I've seen some stuff. I was there, okay, and it's just like, and that's the whole technological aspect, is throw all of that in with everything else and technology, and just the fact that I would say we're living in. I think America's got another 300 or 400 years to go. I really do. Okay, we get past this little hiccup with Trump, which we will. Okay, but it's the only thing that worries me. Or just, I don't know if it's the only thing that worries me is just the technology. The technology part of it is the only thing that worries me. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all agree on that. But again, it may be because we're old.
You know?
But yeah, I firmly agree that the
Yeah,
technology.
but I think it worries a lot of people though who are. Yeah, I mean, so what do you do? So I guess we just sit here and wait and watch and wait, dude. I mean, that's all we can do, right?
We need. That's what I was saying. We need like at least
You know what? Were you?
a way to
Go ahead.
regulate.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead. I was just saying that those people need to find better
No,
ways.
it's just no. I mean,
just let it not run amok. You know. I think that is the only thing.
I agree. I mean, it's but how do you regulate technology? Like, how do you regulate the internet? Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? You know?
Well, I think we're doing the right thing because we're having these conversations at frankly an old age for like developing software like this. This is cutting edge software, and that's something people younger than us usually do. There are people who are older than us that are involved, but it's usually the younger kids who are on the cutting edge, and especially who are the end users who hack it and develop it, faster. Because these models are one thing, but once you use these models and hack them and integrate them with new characteristics, you improve the models, and then they get further developed, and it becomes something magical. And that's when the scary spice kind of comes in. And if you look at what happened with the internet and regulation, is specifically is where I'm going. Washington, D.C. has always had old people in it, and they didn't understand how to regulate this stuff until just recently, because you just recently had some of these older people decide to like take courses on it, get taught how to use this. Some of them actually are getting degrees in computer science now. And we're just now getting really good understandings in Washington on how to regulate a lot of the internet stuff and work with the tech companies. I mean, they're finally inviting these tech companies in for the real conversations on time about how to regulate AI and stuff instead of like 15 years when it's too late. So the fact that we're old people discussing it, I think, is the most important thing we can do right now, so that we don't fall behind the times like these legislators did in Washington, where they weren't understanding how their phones worked or like what Facebook was or how to text message somebody. And it's like 20 years into this, and they're still not understanding how to like, what the difference between an instant message and a text is.
Yeah.
So we're headed in the right direction in that we're having conversations. We're inviting other people to listen to conversations. And now we just need people to catch up and get as interested as we are in this. That way the public gets so interested that the legislators can't ignore it, basically.
That's very well said.
Yeah, I guess I was fortunate. I mean, I'm going to say that because, that was very well said. And I just piggybacking off of what you just said, I was really fortunate to have started working in the tech industry in the early 90s, in the dot-com boom, because it was, you went from from was it ISDL or ISDN to DSL and then you had T1s and T1s and T2s and T3s. Those were, those were huge, because they had a lot of transmitting power. And then you went from DSL to cloud technology, and which is where we still are, with Wi-Fi and everything. But I saw all that happen. You know what I mean? Like, I literally worked on all of that stuff. I sold all that stuff. I sold the software. I sold the hardware. I worked for a company called St. Bernard Software. It was an internet content filtering hardware that helped companies, how can I say, make their front end more beneficial, because what it did, or just it helped their ROI, their return on investment, as far as work was concerned. for all of the people who were, on the front end, like using their, or the marketers, or basically what it did was it kept people from going to, sites or websites that they shouldn't, like Google or Facebook or whatever. So basically, if you went to work, all you could do was get on your laptop or your desktop and work. So I mean, I've literally been, I've been in a good place for a long time when it comes to technology, but we'll see what happens. I mean,
so here's three old
it's a long journey that we're going to take.
Three old dudes scared and confused and yelling at the sky. And I hope that all of the kids listening to this laughing.
Help me! Help me!
AI is coming after me.
And if you want more hilarity,
you want more, like I said, man, it's like it's
a little bit of a
so
delay.
Crazy, dude. well, yeah, I think, but you know what? Yeah, that's all right. You know what? There are a lot of people out there from the ages of 18 to 80 that know all this stuff, though.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
they're going to be the ones, like you were saying, that are like you, who are in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to see what happens, man. We're going to see I mean, dude, like anything else, we could talk about like this AI. I mean, like, I'm sure we're going to be talking about this because it's going to change it's going to change in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks it's going to be something else. And in 3 months, it's going to be, we'll see. Not we'll see. It's going to happen. So I guess we just have to keep up with it, right?
It's evolving at a very fast rate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it picking up right now. Like legitimately in this last month, it's picking up so fast that I'm starting to like get blinded by the speed at which it's picking up. I used to be able to keep up with all of the different models and the new innovations, and now it's like there's 30 different innovations every day in different sectors. So we're headed right now. We're headed at that speed where it's breakneck speed. So
yeah, like San Francisco has self-driven cars, right? Instead of cabs, instead of taxis, you can take they have the Ubers, which will be only like self or auto-driven. I think there were a couple accidents with that, so I don't know if they're going to pause that or not. But
yeah, just today, as we were starting the podcast, one regular car, hit a lady, and that lady got pushed in front of an automated or an auto driving car, and it stopped right on top of her. So don't know what the auto driving car could have done differently, but I'm sure they're gonna sit back and think about this for a while. So
yeah. So we're moving very fast.
Wow. That's insane. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, all I can do, I don't know, dude, just wake up in the morning and just one foot in front of the other, and that's literally it. Because, I mean, 15 years ago, there's no way you could tell me that we would have, we didn't have Zoom 15 years ago, did we?
No.
I think we had Skype.
No. Yeah. So we had Skype, but we had Skype, but I mean, I'll give you a great example. So I was talking to the guy who's going to do the marketing for this page, and he saw and he's like, "Yeah, dude, you guys got a YouTube page." He goes, once we get you off the ground and once we get you guys rolling, it's going to be up. It's going to be you guys. He's like, it's going to once this starts moving, you know, he's going to be like, he said, you're going to have to be on it like every day, like every single day, you know, because you know that's just. So I'm just like, oh my God, am I putting my foot in my mouth now? I'm like, God, why did I do this? No, I love this podcast. I love this podcast, dude. Because honestly, it just people need energy. People need energy. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. They need energy. They need to hear stuff. They need to know that there are people out there that care about them. You know that I mean, and we're not just saying this stuff to say this for anyone that's listening. You know, whoever listens to this, we've got subscribers, believe it or not. But we've got like I think 13 now, believe it or not. And yeah, if you're listening, subscribe and all that good stuff. And hit the bell. But yeah, I mean, if you're listening, I mean, the reason we're doing this is because we need to get information out there. There are a lot of, I'm not saying you're low information, but there are a lot of people that are low information. Doesn't, you know, you might not have time, but if you've got time to listen to 15 minutes of us, we're thankful. So.
Yeah. Check out our page. Leave some comments. Soon our page is going to be bigger and better. Rodney's working on that right now with the team. We're going to start doing more lives, more videos and stuff like that. So we appreciate you guys watching our videos and hanging out with Vic and my dogs, and at times my dog's butts. And we appreciate you coming out on early October and fall. All right. Well, thank you, Rodney. Thanks for talking about AI.
Thank God the summer's gone, dude. What a hot summer.
Yep.
Oh my God. Anyways, see you inside the studio.
All right. Love
Thanks
you.
for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace, everybody.
Hey, Vic, always.